Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, August 28th, 2023. Fire potential impacts for the next couple of days are shown here. Today we're just looking at warmer and drier conditions with light winds area-wide. On Tuesday, we'll see precipitation return to the central Idaho mountains and winds across the Snake River Plain in northern Nevada. On Wednesday, the winds shift a little bit further south and east, and we'll see cooler temperatures move into the north. The past 24 hours of precip and lightning are shown here. We had some storms across eastern Idaho and western Wyoming yesterday. And fire activity was fairly light. We had 9 new fires for 3.88 acres and no large fire growth on our existing large fires. And most of those new fires were in southwest Idaho. Precipitation for the past 7 days is shown here. We're still seeing the impact of the precipitation just about a week or over a week ago in Nevada and up into Idaho. We have had some warming and drying since this precipitation, so the effects will begin to wear off there. ERCs are still pretty low across the Great Basin with the impact still being felt from that precipitation. Most of our ERCs are below the 60th or 50th percentile across the geographic area, but they are on the upswing. If we take a closer look at a couple of zones here over the Boise Mountains, we can see the values are quite a bit below normal for the time of year, but they are increasing and will increase for a couple more days. Further south over the south central Utah mountains, the values are also below normal for the time of year, but increasing. This morning's satellite imagery shows that high pressure ridge in place across the southwest U.S. and really building up into the Great Basin. That's bringing very warm temperatures across the area today, really much above normal for the time of year. And we have this low off the Pacific coast. It's going to be moving inland over the next couple of days, and that will certainly impact our weather here. So for today, again, high pressure ridge building in across the Great Basin, keeping things dry and warm area-wide. Minimum relative humidities are quite low across Nevada this afternoon. We have some single digits out there across the south and northwest, and fairly low elsewhere. Maximum temperatures are pretty warm for the time of year, upper 90s in northern and western Nevada, and portions of southwest Idaho, very warm as well. On Tuesday, we start to see that change as that low from the Pacific Northwest swings inland. That will bring some gusty winds to the Snake River Plain and northern Nevada, and also bring some moisture to the central Idaho mountains. A closer look at where we're expecting that precip, really just kind of a band moving through to the central Idaho mountains, central and east Idaho mountains really. The western mountains may miss out a little bit on this one, but we do see dry conditions with strong gusty winds in southwest Idaho and along the Snake River Plain, northern and portions of northern Nevada and western Utah on Tuesday. With the warm and dry conditions, we expect our fire potential to increase a bit for this day on Tuesday in those areas. On Wednesday, that low continues to move eastward, bringing some breezy winds across southern and southeast Utah, but dry conditions really across the southern 2/3, 3/4 of the area, and no high risk on Wednesday. We still see dry conditions across Nevada and Utah on Wednesday, but higher RHs will have moved into portions of Idaho behind that cold front. And then the gusty winds are expected over southern and southeast Utah. Still some gusty winds over eastern Idaho lingering on Wednesday as well. Just taking a look at the temperature differences, the maximum temperature differences between Monday and Wednesday here. The most notable differences occur in Idaho, especially like near the Boise area. High temperatures of 95 on Monday, dropping down to 76 by Wednesday. This is mostly a dry cold front, especially across southern Idaho. So we won't see a lot of precip or high relative humidities necessarily, but a pretty significant drop in temperatures. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. Again, we're just looking for precip to the northern central Idaho mountains and eastern Idaho mountains in that Tuesday time frame, and dry elsewhere. By Thursday, the pattern shifts again, and we see monsoonal moisture returning to the southern Great Basin, especially southern Utah on Thursday, and then another low moving into the Pacific Northwest will kind of be at our doorstep on Thursday before moving in later in the weekend. So on Friday, more monsoonal moisture continues to move up through Utah and into eastern Idaho. We see that low dropping a little bit further south into Oregon and Northern California. That will bring temperatures down a bit across the north and just allow that moisture to stream up into the Great Basin. That low remains in place over Northern California on Saturday, keeping the moisture in place across the Great Basin. By Sunday, the low moves across the Great Basin, kind of starting to move off to the east. So we will see a few days of cooler temperatures and precip even a little bit further north. These 7-day precip totals are shown here, and we can see that monsoonal moisture beginning to move into the southern Great Basin on Thursday and continuing through the weekend. And then further north, that moisture should reach Idaho in the Friday to Saturday timeframe for increasing chances of precipitation up there. The extended outlook for September 4th through the 10th puts below normal temperatures in place across the west coast with pretty significant heat off to our east. Above normal chances for precip are also in the forecast for our northern portions and a drier pattern across Utah and southern Nevada. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.